Gentle Waves is a spectacular shawl pattern from Whooley Designs. You start working from the bottom tip and then you work your way up. It would be beautiful in a tonal, speckled, variegated, and even long striping yarns. And the best part? You can make this shawl in any weight from lace weight to bulky and just continue or stop when it is wide enough for you. Let's get started. Before we get started with actually crocheting the shawl, I thought I'd show you what supplies you'll need. Now, the original pattern, I used a Shep G's Whirl, but this is another brand that could be used as well. This is a Cotton Kings Sultan. It's a gradient skein of yarn. You don't have to use a gradient. You could use multiple mini skeins. You could use tonal yarn, you could use a variegated yarn. It's up to you for the look that you want. But this is just an option that I thought I'd show you. You'll also need a size E for crochet hook, which is a 3.5 millimeter, if you want to get the gauge exactly what I did in the pattern. You'll also need a pair of scissors, obviously, to cut the yarn.